Israel is losing on the battlefield, losing politically and diplomatically, and losing in the court of public opinion. Our people are steadfast in the face of this genocide and will continue to rise and rebuild and resist until they have ended the siege and occupation in Gaza and until Palestine is free from the river to the sea.
Welcome to Fight Back Radio, a production of FightBackNews.org, taking you to the heart of the people's struggle. I'm your host, Richard Berg, and today we have a special treat for you. As I'm talking to you today and we're releasing this episode, the Democratic Party is coming to Chicago. They're arriving. They're here now. And we're preparing a wonderful welcome for the delegates. We have our own agenda, different than the Democratic Party. And we've called for a number of things. There's a coalition of more than 200 organizations. We fought the city hard to get permits and routes, and everything's, now it's D-Day. Now we're out here to try to protest and say what we want to say. We're expecting tens of thousands of people to be protesting on Monday, to protest what's going on in Palestine, the genocide of the people of Palestine, and to stand up for self-determination for all peoples, for union rights, women's rights, all those things. I want to give a shout out to all our comrades, sisters, and brothers in Milwaukee who did a wonderful job protesting the Republican National Convention. I was there, and I was impressed, and we're hopeful to repeat and even have bigger turnouts for this Democratic Party convention. And just let me say, I know there's been a lot of debate about whether, Trump's so bad, you got to go with Harris and all this sort of thing. And I think we need to say that we need to stand up for what we believe in, and this is the time to do that. Kamala Harris is, she has an opportunity to change policy on this right now, and to speak out, and as the leader of the Democratic Party to say, I'm against genocide. I'm going to use the purse strings of the United States of America if I'm elected president to put pressure on Israel to stop the genocide, to give self-determination to Palestinian people and to all peoples in the world. If you're not going to give self-determination to Palestinians in the Middle East, are you going to give it to anybody else? Are you going to give it to black people in the United States? We know they don't give anything. It's we need to demand and take it on our own. And we're standing in full solidarity with the people of Palestine. Today's episode is we're going to show a forum that was done by the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. That was, All Out for the March on the DNC was the title of it. And we want to show it again here so people can see some of the discussions that have been happening leading up to the Democratic Party convention. Also, I want to let you know that the Fight Back radio production team is all here in Chicago. We're going to be, we're heavily involved in this march on the Democratic Party convention, but we're also going to be doing interviews with people, and we're putting together a program after the DNC's over to show people what happened here, and to talk about why people came here, and to give to go to the heart of the people's struggle, as our thing says. So the forum we're about to show you is hosted by Chrisley Carpio, who's from the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, has been a guest on Fight Back Radio, and so here I want to turn over now to Chrisley Carpio.
So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about how to mobilize to Chicago, and I'll say it again for everyone in the back, to march on the Democratic National Convention. I'll say a little bit about who we are and what our organization is, and then we're going to hear from a very exciting program of speakers. So we are the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. And we are an organization of revolutionaries that is on the move and that can move others. We are committed to making a serious change. We're tired of the system that we live under that is built upon war carried out by the imperialists, starvation, poverty. We think that this is a system, and genocide. As people should have seen on the flyer, we think that the system cannot be fixed with reform. And we know, because of the revolutionaries who came before us, that change won't come from an ivory tower high above our heads. It's definitely not going to come from the billionaires who play with our lives like they're just chips in a casino, nor their political agents in the Democratic Party who would rather fund a genocide of the brave people of Palestine than meet our demands. Our hope comes from people taking matters into their own hands, taking to the streets, and seizing political power. I believe that we're going to make a big step towards that on August 19th as we march with all the organizations alongside the coalition to march on the Democratic National Convention. It's going to be a historic march. We'll be there with at least tens of thousands of people, we firmly believe, probably more. But more than that, we'll be standing together with the people of Palestine, the heroes in Gaza, and the oppressed peoples of the world. I'm excited to introduce to you tonight our fabulous lineup of speakers. But I will say before we begin that there is an important change to the program. Frank Chapman, who is the executive director of NARPR, the National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, a very important organization fighting for the Black liberation movement, for community control of the police, is sick and is in the hospital and is unable to join us tonight. But he does want to send us a message to all the comrades and everyone else on this call that he will be on the streets with everyone on August 19th. And anybody who comes early can look for him in the Alliance office, hard at work. So all our love to Frank. I hope you see this recording later. Maybe you'll get to see all the reacts from people in the crowd, but we wish you the best. And we know that we'll see you soon. Thank you for all your hard work, comrade. So we'll transition now to our speakers. Please save your questions and your organizing reports for after the speakers are done. We're going to open it up to the floor then, and then we'll ask everyone to raise your hand, and you can direct your questions to a particular speaker or to whoever wants to answer. So with that said, we're going to go ahead now to our first speaker. I'm excited to introduce Kobe Guillory of the Coalition to March on the DNC 2024 to be our first speaker tonight. Take it away, Kobe.
Thank you so much, Chrisley, and thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate y'all. And I want to emphasize the revolutionary greetings from Frank. He's always out here, always in the struggle. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Coalition to March on the DNC. I'm also a co-chair of the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. So I work pretty closely with Frank. And I just want to talk a little bit about how this coalition came together, what we're fighting for, and what we've done and what we're going to do over these next 2 weeks. So we actually came together as a coalition before October 7th. As soon as it was announced that the DNC was going to be in Chicago, this was in April last year of 2023. We decided that we were going to march on the DNC and the RNC. And this is something that the organizations in this coalition, the National Alliance, USPCN, Freedom Road, and many other organizations have been doing for quite a while as part of a tradition of protest and activism that has been going back for many decades, protesting at the conventions of these ruling class parties. We understand, just like Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. So we don't let conventions go by without making our demands to the people in power. So when our coalition first formed, we had 6 demands. Those were community control of the police and an end to police crimes, legalization for all undocumented immigrants, defense of workers' rights to unionize and strike. To unionize and strike is very important because we don't want our rights as workers to just be given lip service. We want to actually be able to win things from our employers. We want the defense of reproductive and LGBTQ rights, which is something that when those rights are under attack, we don't really see much of a fight back from the Democratic Party. We see a fight back in the streets from grassroots organizations. Um, we also are demanding that money goes to jobs, healthcare, housing, education, and the environment instead of for wars. And the demand that kind of ties those previous five things together is justice, peace, and equality. And after October 7th, we saw, as everyone knows, the start of a genocide in Palestine. And that genocide has been the occupation of Palestine has been enabled by the entire Western power structure for decades, and the U.S. right now is the biggest financial, military, and political supporter of the occupation, and is the biggest enabler of this genocide, uh, the biggest supporter of this genocide. So people around the world, from Yemen to South Africa, from Puerto Rico to the Philippines, and everywhere in between, have taken action to oppose this genocide. Working class people and oppressed people all over the world are standing up in solidarity with the freedom fighters in Palestine and are saying that this genocide needs to come to an end. So it is of the utmost importance that we here in the belly of the beast, living in the United States, that we demand an end to our tax dollars being used on this genocide, and not just on the genocide, but on the occupation itself. So the biggest demand as of after the genocide started in Gaza became end U.S. aid to Israel. Um, and that demand has united everybody in our coalition. We now have 200, over 200. It was 200 as of Sunday, but it's over 200 organizations in this coalition. Um, Organizations have joined as either as members, where they're directly involved in the planning, or as endorsers, as supporters, I'm sorry, where they're just endorsing the march and they're going to send some people, but they're not necessarily involved in the day-to-day planning. Right now, because it's about a week and a half before the demonstration, people can still join on as supporters of the coalition. So if you are a part of an organization which for some reason has not joined the coalition yet, I would advise you to go to marchandnc2024.org and join as a supporter. Um, and we, again, 200 organizations in this coalition from all these different sectors, like I just mentioned, labor, the Black Liberation Movement, the Chicano Liberation Movement, the reproductive rights and LGBTQ movements. All of these different movements, there's a lot of variation in terms of how people think, in terms of the work that people are doing, but we are all united in taking action for Palestine, and understanding the connections between the Palestinian liberation struggle and our different liberation struggles here in the U.S. or wherever else people are located. We understand that our situations are united not just superficially, but because we have a common enemy, and that enemy is imperialism. The U.S. The same U.S. government that is sending billions and billions of dollars of tax dollars to supporting a genocide, to killing children. At this point, well over 40,000 people have been killed by our tax money. That same government that is sending our tax money to this genocide makes the decision every day not to house people. Makes the decision every day not to give people health care, not to adequately fund education, not to defend the environment from corporations, and of course is also having police commit crimes and terrorize Black and brown communities. So that we understand very deeply that we have to unite and we have to fight against this system. And we were just at the RNC a couple of weeks ago, We had about 3,500 people out there, and we're expecting tens of thousands of people to come out against this genocide. On August 19th, we're going to be at Union Park, marching to within sight and sound of the United Center, where these rich and powerful politicians are going to be talking about whatever intra-party nonsense they want to talk about. We're going to be bringing the people's agenda to their doorstep, and to that end, we've been fighting with the city of Chicago for a permit to march. Now, I've heard people say, "Well, why are we considering getting a permit?" And I've been organizing for about 5 years, which is not very long compared to some of the people in this coalition. But in that 5 years, I've been a part of hundreds of protests, and I've never even considered getting a permit. But for this event, where the FBI is going to be there, the Department of Homeland Security is going to be there, the Secret Service is going to be there. The police get very rowdy and very aggressive. So, as a way of keeping our people safe, of making sure that this is a protest that people can bring their families to, that the masses can come to, where people can bring their kids, elders can show up, people with disabilities or undocumented immigrants can show up. We are fighting with the city for a permit. We are still in federal court, but it's looking like we're going to get that permit, and we're going to get the kind of route that actually welcomes tens of thousands of people. We're training marshals to keep the people safe, because we know that police don't keep us safe, and that we keep our own people safe. And we have been getting experience by planning marches. We planned some build-up marches in the build-up to this. In the before the summer, we had some marches around the different demands of the coalition. We had a conference in April where we united 500 people from all around the country to figure out how to organize this protest. And we've been doing a lot of building in both in the community as well as around the country. We've been going to the neighborhood around Union Park. We've been flyering. So if you're in Chicago, there is still time to help us with that, to pass out those flyers. We've had art builds. We've built about 5,000 picket signs. And there's a lot of different work to do. I think I'm a little bit over time, so I'll land the plane here. But I do want to say, if you are still not involved, there is a way to get involved by going to marchondnc2024.org. You can join the coalition, and I look forward to seeing all of y'all on August 19th. We are going to make history, and we're going to win.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kobe, for that report on what is going on with the organizing of the march. Everyone here sounds like everyone on this call is invited to help out. Make yourself useful, to give out flyers, to drop by the address that the comrade mentioned. August 19th, Union Park is where people will be meeting. And absolutely, we're going to make this a historic march that lots of people will be reading about and learning from for a long time, as a serious blow against the genocide in Palestine. So next on our program is going to be Nazik from the United States Palestinian Community Network organization. Thank you so much, Nazik. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Chrisley. Good evening, everyone. I'm Nazik Sankari, co-chair of the Chicago chapter of the U.S. Palestinian Community Network, USPCN, and I'm also co-chair of the Coalition to March on the DNC with the incredible Kobe. USPCN is one of the leading organizations in the Chicago Coalition for Justice in Palestine, which has mobilized almost 50 mass protests over the last 10 months. Which many of you that are based in Chicago or have visited have attended our rallies. So I'm going to share some reflections and thoughts. The U.S. funded Israeli genocide on the Palestinian people in Gaza has killed more than 40,000 Palestinians in the last 305 days. And we know this number is devastatingly undercounted. We've heard over the last few weeks horrific accounts of barbaric torture methods, including weaponizing rape, sexual assault, and other sexual crimes at the hands of the Israeli occupation forces. And this treatment of Palestinians is not new, nor is the silence from most media outlets and our so-called leaders in this country. And despite all of this hardship, the Zionist forces will never be able to break and will never break the spirit or the unified resistance of the Palestinian people. Israel is losing on the battlefield, losing politically and diplomatically, and losing in the court of public opinion. Our people are steadfast in the face of this genocide and will continue to rise and rebuild and resist until they have ended the siege and occupation in Gaza and until Palestine is free from the river to the sea. So 2 weeks ago, we saw both establishment political parties in the US welcome with open arms war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu into Congress. And he met with Biden and Harris and clearly got the green light from the administration to then attack Lebanon and Iran while the US continued its attacks on Iraq and Yemen. And Butcher Netanyahu has been attempting to escalate a broader regional war for months. And we as anti-war activists in this country must do everything possible to make sure this does not happen. We must continue to expose and shame the war criminals from the president, vice president, members of Congress, corporate media outlets, and all businesses that are profiting off of the murder of Palestinians. And you cannot feign concern about the state of civilian casualties in Gaza like Killer Kamala did when she said she, quote, had concern for the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians, end quote, while simultaneously continuing to support the genocide and, like we saw yesterday, silencing those who are speaking up at her rallies. It is our responsibility here in the US to ensure that no business as usual continues to be conducted while the Democrats are funding the genocide and are failing to protect the domestic concerns for all of us here in the US. And this is why we continue to escalate and hold our so-called progressive leaders accountable, such as Jan Schakowsky in Illinois, where at a meet and greet 2 weeks ago, we confronted her and she apologized for voting to include money to Israel in a package for Ukraine and Haiti. This was the first time that she had ever actually apologized for any of her actions, which is momentous. This is why it's imperative that we march as this broad and inspiring coalition of folks of all ages, of different gender identities and immigration statuses, all to demand an end to all aid to Israel. The Democrats have continued to fail us on almost all accounts, and if they lose in November, the blame is only their own. And I want to make it very clear and remind everybody that it does not matter who is in the White House, who becomes the Democratic nominee, what identity politic games they play. None of that will absolve any of them being complicit in genocide. The Democratic Party has failed to protect reproductive, LGBTQIA+, immigrant and workers' rights. And so we're going to bring our demands to the doors of the DNC on Monday, August 19th and the 22nd with the coalition to march on the DNC, and on August 21st with CJP, and continue to fight no matter what to ensure the genocide ends, aid gets into Gaza, and we liberate every inch of stolen land from historic Palestine and all other colonized lands. I'm really excited to see all of you on the march, on August 19th. It's going to be the largest rally for Palestinian rights in Chicago history and a beautiful show of people power. Thank you.
Absolutely, Nazik. Thank you so much for those words. The people of Palestine really are showing us the way to freedom. They're not afraid to fight for a real revolution to be rid of the occupation that is oppressing them. And we can create a political movement here in the United States to put a serious end to that, to create a lot of pressure to make it unacceptable in society to support Israeli apartheid. People did it during the Vietnam War, I think we can do as much, if not more, today. So next, we will have Sydney Loving, a member of the Central Committee of the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, to present and take us home. Go ahead, Sid.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. Sorry, I'm in my car, so it's going to be a boomer moment holding the phone like this. But my name is Sid. Sydney Loving, and like Chrisley said, I sit on the Central Committee of FRSO, the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. So we have taken up the call to revolution to create a new world on the ashes of the old, because the politicians on Biden and Harris's team have failed us. Way too long, we listened to their lukewarm promises and empty campaign speeches by the Democrats, and they've delivered even less. And even worse than that, Biden's administration has been desperately funding a genocide in Gaza, as we all know. And despite their theatrics and sleight of hand in the press, they've never stopped. The bombs, planes, chemical weapons, they're all made in the USA by our shared enemy, the same class that's a parasite to us and to oppressed people all over the world. So over 40,000 Palestinians from Gaza have been killed since October, and twice that amount are missing. Many times more that are injured and displaced. And the Israeli occupation is trying to starve the people of Gaza, deprive them of clean water, force them to leave or to die. And yet, the people of Gaza and the Palestinian resistance are fighting back, and we are in full solidarity with them. I want to say a little bit about FRSO. FRSO has a very long history of solidarity with Palestine. And since our inception, we've made it very clear that Israel exists on stolen land and on borrowed time. We've helped organize countless protests and demonstrations and campaigned for freeing Palestinian political prisoners like Ahmad Sadat, the General Secretary of the Popular Front for Liberation of Palestine. We are working class internationalists, and we always stand with the oppressed against the oppressor. So as we can see all around us, the U.S. empire is declining from Palestine to the Philippines and everywhere in between. People are waging revolutionary struggles for freedom and liberation. Like I said, the old world is dying, and there's a new world coming into being, and we want to be a part of that. So Freedom Road Socialist Organization, we're a revolutionary organization. We're serious about real change. We work hard to build the international solidarity in the anti-war movement. And we're also active in the trade unions and the Black and Chicano liberation movements and many other of the fronts of the people's struggle that are all important and all working together. So all these fights, we're very clear that monopoly capitalism has to go. The power of the billionaires needs to be broken. The working class needs to take things into our own hands. We need to build socialism. And we need to be in the streets on August 19th in solidarity with Palestine for the march on the DNC. So I'm so excited to see all of you there. We'll be making our way to Chicago on planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm in Dallas, so I'll be on a plane. But yeah, thank you to all the other speakers and to everybody that's getting fired up for this and not backing down to march on the DNC. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Sid. Permit or no permit, approved route or the route that we want, online Democratic National Convention or in-person one, since they want to run and hide, we will be marching and we will be out there and we will make our demands known and put the people's agenda on the menu. So what we're going to have now is we're going to open up the floor to questions for our speakers, but also we want to hear from people on this call what you're doing to mobilize to the Democratic National Convention. And not only, you know, what you're doing, but are you getting others to do it with you? What plans do you have? What questions do you have? we want to make sure that as many of us can get there as possible. Yeah, I see in the chat we've got people driving from DC. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So if people could go ahead and raise their hands if you have questions or reports of your own about mobilizing from the DNC, if people in your city endorsed, what more can we do? People have ideas. Let's hear them. Okay, I see that we've got some hands. I'm just gonna go in the order that I saw them come up. Let's go ahead and hear from Mathieu.
Hello, I'm here in Seattle. We're organizing with our local NARPR chapter, our local SDS chapters, and local environmental justice organizations to bring out several people, about a dozen people from Seattle to Chicago. We've been organizing hard to fundraise and spread awareness of that. It's a bit longer of a trek for us than some people across the Midwest who are having to fly out instead of drive. But, everybody's excited to be there. We've been organizing now for a few months to get people together for that and make sure that people are ready to be marshals and volunteers at the march itself. If we're gonna make the flight out there, we'll do as much as we can.
Awesome. Seattle coming in strong. I know there's a lot of people on this call who are closer. Okay, we'll go next to Anthony.
Hello, everyone. My bad. It was taking me some time. Anthony Bryant, he, him, his. I am in the Chicago area. I am one of the police district council members. For those who may not have heard, we had a historic election here in the city of Chicago around electing folks democratically to hold police accountable. I do plan to reach out to, I've been in talks with my colleagues about having police district council members out there in the march, keeping eye of witnessing police response or reactions or just their behaviors towards our movement, our march, our rallies. And also, I was just with Chicago Votes. For those who don't know, Chicago Votes is a youth organization that does a lot of work with registering people to vote. But they hosted a meeting with Equity and Transformation, the Workers Center for Racial Justice, Black Roots Alliance, some of our local organizations that do work in the city, statewide, or in the Midwest on how to play a role and support. So I just told them about this meeting as well as links that we've shared out about like volunteering, donating, things like that. So they are putting together a list of like other events and programs that's going on. That was also Healthy Hood was there, for instance. For those who may not know, Kobe Dodd helped me out. The founder of Healthy Hood was a part of the Rainbow Coalition back in the day. So his grandniece runs the organization. So yeah, just being in those type of spaces, and would love to get more details and things like to share with folks, a fellow organizer. And that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. And then for folks who don't know, Chicago is a city that's making a lot of historic gains towards community control of the police with the passage of let me make sure I don't get it wrong, Empowering Communities for Public Safety city ordinance that was won through years and years of protesting and organizing, the kind of thing that we're going to do in a couple of weeks. This is the tactic that works, is what gets the enemy's attention. So thank you so much, Anthony. We'll go next to RW. And I see people are writing questions in the chat. If people could raise their hands, we will get to them for sure. So please. All right, let's go to RW.
Okay. Just a question. Why are we, you said, picking the 19th as the date? I know the convention spans over a number of days, and because of their shenanigans, there is no specific date that that they picked the nominee, because they've already picked that. But I was under the impression that Thursday was more major as far as schedule.
Does the coalition representative Kobe want to take on that question? Yes, there you go, please.
Yeah. So the 19th, I mean, that's the kickoff um, of the DNC. So that's the date that we, as a coalition, decided that we can mobilize the most people to. We are also protesting on the 22nd. Um, at So on the 19th is going to be at noon. On the 22nd is going to be at 5 p.m. That was when we thought that the nomination was going to be announced, but like you said, it's kind of a done deal already. But we encourage people to show up to both of those, the 19th and the 22nd.
Excellent. Thank you so much for a good question and a good answer. All right, we'll go next to Danny.
Hey everyone, this is Danny with Palo Solidarity Grand Rapids. So I'll be real brief. So for West Michigan, we have about like four organizations that have sponsored the march, endorsed the march. Then are coalition members, including Palestine Solidarity Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids Alliance, Students for a Democratic Society at Grand Valley State University, and Kalamazoo Nonviolent Opponents to War. So we are planning on, I believe we're also planning on providing about 4 or 5 medics because, we want to make sure our community is well taken care of. And so we are planning on taking a 54 passenger bus that we are like almost full. And as well, we'll also have a few other cars driving separately. And, a few days before the march, we're also planning a press event / fundraiser / sign making event on August 16th to, really drive up the momentum here locally.
Wow, 54-seat bus, Michigan. That's amazing. That's a great report. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Yeah, let's go Grand Rapids. What's going on in Grand Rapids? No, Michigan actually has a very large Arab population, so that makes sense. But we'll go next to Casey DeSantis.
Hello, I am joining in from Portland, Oregon, and our group, PDX for Palestine, is taking about 10 people over to Chicago, and we're all very excited. We have a lot of new organizers joining us, so we're very excited to be part of this coalition. We've been organizing with local chapters of ILPS and International Migrants Alliance, who are also mobilizing to bring their folks out as well. So we're all very excited to join you guys in Chicago, make history.
Woo-hoo. Thank you, Portland. More PNW. All right. So let's go next to, I see questions in the chat. Please raise your hands. So it's hard to watch the chat and do this at the same time. Okay, we'll go to Katie.
Hi. Let me know if you can't hear me. I've had some issues with Zoom in the past. Hi, my name is Katie. I use they, them. And I'm from the area, Dayton, Ohio. So I'm really excited about our little carload of folks coming from Ohio. We've got members of local mass orgs, Palestine Work, as well as a local SDS that'll be coming along with us. And we're really excited for Dayton to be kind of mobilizing and marching alongside comrades across the nation. So we're thrilled, we're excited, and we'll see you in the streets.
Oh, shoot. I think it sounds like we're getting people from all around the country. So Ohio has entered the arena for who's going to bring. No, I'm joking. Although people should be thinking about how to get as many people as possible and organizations to endorse as possible and to bring people out. People do want to go to this march. If people find out that this march is happening and that they can do something for the people of Palestine, we're finding a lot of people are finding ways to get out there, including I'm a leader of the student commission. A lot of young people who don't have much money are finding ways to get out there. They're applying for grants, doing all kinds of things, holding fundraisers. So let's all get out there. Okay, let's go next to Richard Berg.
Can you hear me all right now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm a labor activist here in Chicago and host of Fight Back Radio. Go Fight Back Radio. But I'm calling. I just got back home for this call from talking to some auto workers about joining the march, and there's going to be a labor contingent in the march. So I want to encourage union people to turn out. And if you know union people from wherever you are from, encourage them to turn out for this march, wear their union shirts and be union proud in the march. Most of the leaderships of our unions are not endorsing this, and many are trying to go into the march. But 7 unions have just said, spoke up against the genocide that's going on and asked to stop the funding. And rank and file people are seeing that, I'm from the teachers union. Our schools are getting underfunded because money's going to for a genocide instead of for educating our children. And you can go this across the board for public transportation, for converting buildings to green spaces, on and on, all the things that we should be doing. So I just want to, I'm very excited about the march, and this call has got me more pumped up hearing all the reports from different people. But I look forward to seeing you all in Chicago, and bring out your union friends too. Tell them to, give them a kick in the butt, tell them to get out and to march in the labor contingent. So thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Richard. Yeah, Fight Back Radio. That's the best podcast around. And yes, people should, if you are in a union, if there are people who work alongside you, who you talk about this with, get them out. It's really important that, we're in the FRSO, we're a socialist organization. We believe that it's the working class who can lead us into the future. It's important to raise issues like this, from within the working class and to agitate around it. That is going to be something that, not many others do. So we'll go next to Victoria.
Hello, I'm Victoria. I'm from Tampa Bay SDS. And yeah, we endorsed the march on the RNC. We are mobilizing around 5 members from our chapter to go right now. Thankfully, we were able to fundraise a lot of money from, creating our own merch and crafting, printed designs on T-shirts, hand making earrings and stuff, all related back to Palestine, and selling them at local markets. We were also able to get approved for a grant for activists in our city, as well as getting funds from me personally from the Rosenberg Fund for Children that I was able to thankfully be awarded. And so we've been able to get 5 people from our chapter to go so far. We're hoping to get some more people plane tickets, and we're going to be helping with marshaling and security so far for the March route, which is really exciting to be helping out with such a big project and helping with the logistics. And it'll be such a great learning experience that we can take back to our own chapter and use those things that we learn in our own city. So we're all really excited. We've been having some really amazing, actions for Palestine in our own city that have been really inspiring for a lot of people in our chapter to get mobilized in that way. So we're all really looking forward to it and seeing, everyone here on this call at the DNC in a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And a special mention to Students for a Democratic Society, where our student comrades in the Student Commission organize for really taking campuses by storm in the spring with the encampment movement for Gaza. We had a lot of places that did that. We had a lot of student comrades who spent as much of the semester as possible, kind of like putting up tents on campus in defiance of the police, frankly. And now a lot of those students are even facing suspensions and even an expulsion, like in my home chapter in Tampa. So, we think that if there are students going through work to get these charges dropped on them in your city, we would just ask that you all support them, because it's a movement that we want to keep going. We don't want any of these students leaving school if this is what they do with their education, right? So we'll go next to Gina Kissy.
Sweet. Hey y'all. I'm outside, so sorry if it's noisy. But I'm reporting from New Orleans. So I'm with No Ship, New Orleans Stop Helping Israel Sports. We're bringing up 20 people, both No Ship members and, other folks in solidarity. We're organizing along with some solidarity orgs like New Orleans for Community Oversight of Police. And we've been fundraising for the last couple of months so that we could have housing for folks when we get up there. So we're really excited. A bunch of us are signing up to be marshals, which I think is going to be great. In fact, I think almost all of us are. But yeah, we actually we lost a small battle in New Orleans today. Our city council voted to pass a resolution based on essentially like a phony statement for peace. That if I encourage you to look it up if you can. But you know, after 10 months of organizing, they essentially turned their backs on the people. So I think a lot of us are galvanized and we're excited to come up, but we're also excited to connect with, you know, all the other. Sorry, it sounds like New Orleans out here. But we're excited to connect with y'all and meet some other like-minded folks. Thanks, y'all.
Awesome. More and more, farther and farther across the whole US. Thank you so much, New Orleans. All right, let's go to Richard Rice.
Hello, I'm with the Youth National United Front, reporting from Texas. We were at the March of the RNC, sent about three delegates, and we're going to be sending another set of delegates, 3 of them, over to Chicago. This time we make art and distribute theory on university campuses and online. Yeah, and we're really excited for the march.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You said Dallas, right? You're coming from Texas?
Houston.
Houston. Okay. Very cool. Excited to have you. Thank you. All right. So now we'll go to I don't know if I'll pronounce your name right. I will try. Reese Ermo.
Riza, nice. It's close though. This report's more of a, I guess, personal one than anything. Harry, come here. Come on, stay there. I'm with FRSO Wisconsin. I during the march on the RNC, I was working the med tent, and afterward I experienced a lot of medical issues, but I'm now feeling like they're mostly resolved, and I should be able to medic for DNC as well. So here's to hoping that that keeps going. Just wanted to share some good news with people.
Awesome. It's a good spirit. Everybody wanting to chip in and bring their skills to the protest. All right, let's go to Dan Sullivan.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have a camera, but I'm here in Dallas. I'm with Freedom Road in Dallas. Things are a little disorganized here because a lot of different groups are going with, and we're just trying to coordinate a little better. So we got people from Freedom Road, we got people from the DFW Anti-War Committee, we got people from Stop Cop City, and we got a good number of people from the Palestinian Youth Movement, which is a big Palestine organization in Dallas. And I can't give you a total number, but I think it's hopefully going to be quite a few. I think we're not as well connected as we need to be. So hopefully after tonight, we can get on that volunteer form and do a little better.
Awesome. That's glad. Good to hear that this webinar is maybe lighting a bit of a fire under people to endorse, volunteer, get your transportation plans set in stone. And it sounds like there's a lot of contingents coming together for the march. I know SDS is putting on a big student contingent along with groups like Students for Justice in Palestine. It's going to be big. Labor contingent was raised. Sounds like anti-war groups are coming, immigrant rights groups. People have been fighting for community control of the police. So get involved. All right. Are there any more questions, or do people have questions of the speakers? All right, let's go, Paul.
This is Paul calling in from Denver. I think right now we have a little over 30 confirmed going. A lot of people from Denver SDS, but we're going in coalition with people from the Denver Anti-War Action group, as well as, a lot of comrades from Denver FRSO. There are a lot of people from Denver DSA who are going to be joining. Some of our legal support from the encampment are coming along. And what else? There was another group. Oh, yeah, and a couple more community groups that were present in the encampment have signed on as endorsers, I think. And so, yeah, a lot coming in from Denver. We're trying to see if we can get something in the way of a bus or some additional vehicles to get more people coming down. So that's it. Excited for the march, to march alongside you all for the people's issues.
Excellent. Thank you, Paul. If there's one amazing thing that can come out of this call, it's everybody deciding that they're going to put a bus together. All right, let's go, Kobe.
Thank you so much, everybody. That there's so much incredible work going on, and we appreciate all of that. I do just want to say one thing, which I forgot to say in my remarks, but I think Dodd posting the fundraising link for the coalition to march in the DNC. Regrettably, we still live in a capitalist society, and everything does cost money. So we have to pay for a sound system, we have to pay for a stage, we have to pay for porta potties, water on the day because it might be pretty hot. There's a whole bunch of things that will cost a lot of money. So whatever you can give, if you can go to our fundraising link, if someone could post it again, that would be appreciated. If not, I can post it in a second. Thank you, Alec. But yeah, whatever you can donate, I understand. For some people, $1,000 is not that much. For some people, $10 is a lot. So whatever you're capable of posting, whatever you're capable of donating, would be much appreciated. I just wanted to say that in case anyone didn't see the link in the chat.
All right. Thank you, Kobe. So everyone here has officially heard Coalition to March on the DNC is putting out a fundraising call. A chat is now in the link. I think I saw people writing in the chat about asking if they couldn't be there, how they can help donate towards getting people there, making the march happen. Well, here is your chance. So please look for that. All right. Any more things from either our speakers or the floor? People have questions about going up there, ideas for how to, are there people who haven't gotten started yet and maybe need to have some questions of their own? Yeah, RW.
Okay. Key thing, I guess, is transportation. In this case, my impression is it's generally best not to drive in downtown parts of the city, but then what is the best place to park if we're coming from further away? And also, what station would be best for this particular application, do you think, with consideration of the fact that this would not be the first time that, I don't know in Chicago, but definitely elsewhere, the public transit stations have been shut down by security forces?
All right, that's a great question. Oh, and it looks like coalition reps have come in the chat with an answer. So it looks like the website has information, an FAQ page that has transportation and parking information. So thank you for raising that question. All right. Yeah, go ahead, Benny.
Hello, I'm Albany. I'm with Carper. I just wanted to put a note on. I know COVID has been surging, and these are really large groups. And my partner has been looking for trying to get uh, donated PPE for at least the main team that's going to be in Chicago. So maybe keep in mind that because we'll all be in close area with one another, for people to, just be mindful if they could, if they have risk and they know that that's a risk that they're taking, for themselves, that maybe they need to bring some of their own PPE, with their groups, just because we might not have, probably will not have anything to really give out to a bunch of people beyond the people who are going to be organizing everything here. And I just wanted to put that note. It's something he's still working on, but he won't be here. I just know that's been brought up sometimes, so I just wanted to put that out as a reminder. Sorry.
No, don't say sorry. Thank you so much, Albany. Thank you so much for kind of raising that notice to people that if you have, medical situation where it's important for you to, kind of bring these things or think about these things, that we go into it knowing what the risks are and how to mitigate them. So thank you for raising that. All right. So we will next have Ellen. Okay, you're
Okay, I
good.
think I'm unmuted. Hi, I'm in Chicago, and I'm just curious to know where to find out what the agenda is going to be, who the speakers are, what time we're meeting, what the march route is. Is that all on the website?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, go ahead, Kobe.
It's not on the well. Some of it is on the website, and some of it is not. Like the route that we want to take is still that's been posted on our social media. We're still haggling with the city over which streets we're going to be on. As far as the agenda, that's still kind of being put together. So that'll be posted when it's done, and it kind of relies on the logistical stuff because there is a whole lot of stuff that the city um, is trying to play with us on. So we're still like the program stuff kind of depends on the logistical stuff. And thank you, Ash, for posting the link so to where you can see the route, the city's route and our route.
Once this Zoom call is over, I'm going to lose all these links. Can somebody send an email out with the links so we can find out what the route is, what time we're meeting? I assume it's going to be at Union Park on Monday, but I just have sketchy details and I'm trying to get people together. So
Yeah, it'll be Union Park. I mean, the program starts at noon, but I would encourage people to get there early, like around 11. And also, we are organizing contingents. So people like different contingents will have like different meeting places depending on how those are organized as well.
are you need marshals? Do you need people need places to stay? I don't know where to find any of that information out.
Yeah, we're still accepting marshals. That is in the volunteer link. And I see Joe said that he'll call you.
Thanks, Joe. I was going to call Richard Berg if Joe didn't respond. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks to you two. Okay. Any more questions? Thoughts from the floor? Seems like our question and answer is slowing down. We might be at the end of our program. Yes, and this is going to be put up on the Freedom Road Socialist Organization's YouTube page. So on our YouTube page, if people want to find this later or share, then this will be made available online. And I believe they'll be streaming as well. But yeah, so it looks like, from what I can tell of what people are sharing in the chat, the website is a good resource. It's got an FAQ page. Looks like there's an Instagram as well that people should message, and then people should get in touch with Kobe, probably exchange information with Kobe now, because I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up. There are no more. Final call. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being on this call tonight. It was an honor to get to bring everyone together here who's going to march on the DNC. We're very excited to get to see everybody soon and to strike a real blow against the ruling class, to strike a real blow against their agents in the Democratic Party who only want to increase their profit at the expense of everyone else. We're going to strike the biggest blow that we can. Thank you, everyone, for being on this call tonight. Stay safe and happy organizing. We'll see you in a few weeks, August 19th, August 22nd. And thank you to our great speakers for your presentations. Always.
Thank you, Chris Lee, for that great emceeing. I appreciate you. Thank
No
everybody.
problem. From the river to the sea, Palestine.
Palestine will be free.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the forum there, and hopefully you're in Chicago for the Democratic Party convention now, or it's over and you're listening to this in the aftermath. I don't know. As I mentioned in the intro, we're going to also have a program. Our next episode will be on the Democratic Party convention, on what happened there, and talking to some of the people that actually participated and were part of the convention. I want to, again, as always, encourage you to share this and help us promote this. If you want to reach me, you can at richard.fightbackradio@gmail.com. But please promote this on Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, whatever your things are. Retweet, thumbs up, 5 stars. All those things are help us. Write a review if that's a possibility. So yes, so thank you for all that, and thank you for all the support from the Fight Back Radio listeners. And I want to especially thank our production team of Shane Tremley, Vince Olson, Natalie Pranis, and Dodd McColgan. And I'm Richard Berg for the entire Fight Back Radio team, saying until next time, all power to the people.